back with another video, and today we're going to be reading Shaken to Become Unshaken, and it's going to be a read. So the first part of this says, what if I told you though you are struggling, you are also in a season of learning and growth? So why I wrote this book is because I went through domestic violence for 6 years. So I wrote this book in 2021, and that's also when I started my business, Journey with Jana. And this is about domestic violence. It's about guidance that comes within, right? So within yourself, it's all about my thoughts. It's something very dear to my heart. It's something that I created, and I was able to put my feelings into words, and I was able to put the things that happened to me into this book to create something that was bigger than myself. So I'm going to read the back to you guys. I figured out that the best guidance comes from within, especially our life story. Here's a guide on how I achieved mental wealth, full of many life lessons and reflection. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Read how I built up my self-esteem. I've learned that I don't have to hide or omit anything in my life. Every struggle I've been through is a success story. While living your story, go back and reread the important parts. Process, heal. Then move forward with your book in hand. Now let go of past traumas and struggles. No more self-sabotage or negative talk. I'm ready to open my book and tell you my story. Read how I broke free from a 6-year-long abusive relationship. Identify red flags and get away from self-limiting people. Commit to yourself. Life is a continuous journey. You live, you learn, and you grow through every experience and encounter, negative or positive. Turn losses into lessons. Rewrite your habits. Create your own narrative. Ready, set, read. And this is about domestic violence, eviction, arrest, psychiatric crisis, harassed, fired, near-death experience, rare syndrome, and faith-based. So I'm ready to get into it with you guys. So it starts off by saying, this is the quote that's in the front of my book. What if I told you though you are struggling, you are also in a season of learning and growth? And these are my table of contents. If you can see, that first section is what I'm going to read. So the first part of section 1 is called Past Research. In this book, I researched myself. You will read the dissection of my life. This book is about how success starts in the mind and my personal account of how I reached my success. I want to be the best me that I can be all the time, every single day. That's why I write and put my life out there. I want everybody to know the wrongs along my journey because I learned the lessons and they were beautiful inside those wrongs. So I want to teach. I want to teach from scars, not wounds. Life is a continuous process of learning myself, and forgiving others on my journey. It's a hard journey, but walk on and focus on blessings along the way. The destination is death, but I don't want to achieve success in death. Meaning, what is a life lived if it's an unhappy one? What is the point in living? I look back at my life, and no matter what happened to me, it made me into who I am today. It would take me 24 hours to tell you about the 24 hours in my day. What I tell you in this book isn't my entire life story or journey. It's just a visit, a reflection. The next part in section 1 is, who am I? I always made sure that I had the necessary knowledge for this world. I have 3 certificates and 2 degrees. All of those accomplishments add up to feeling like I needed to have something more in order to be successful. What good are all of my degrees if I don't have the confidence or believe in myself to be successful in this world and live by the standards I create? Otherwise, they are just wall decorations and an impressive resume. I realized that I was searching for something I couldn't find because I wasn't looking right in front of me or inside of me. I was working in my talents, but I didn't activate my purpose. I wanted more. I found out during my research that success is a mindset. I lived in that feeling of never being enough. I created this world in which I had to be perfect, and if I made a mistake, I was hard on myself. I was the prisoner and the guard. I didn't feel safe in my own body. Sometimes I feel like the boss of my life. I'm certain in the things I do. Other times I feel unqualified. I used to second guess myself a lot. Do you ever feel like you make it up as you go? Or maybe you look to others for guidance? Or maybe you hide away from life and keep to yourself? There's a saying, between a rock and a hard place. Well, I used to get under the rock and hide. Some people bite back if you corner them. Some people become bitter towards the world. They treat others not how they want or should be treated because they give the same energy the world threw at them. But me, I took the negative energy, bathed in it, fed it, took it out for fresh air, and I brought the negative energy back home. I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. Maybe you don't know what you're doing, but you know what you want. Let's start there. In order to become qualified, you have to do your research. Yes, I'm talking about you being qualified to live your life. People and things can hold you back in this world. That was part of my problem. My main problem was me. I was holding myself back. I've written dozens of research papers, so I know a lot of things, but I came to realize that I don't know myself. I was too occupied observing and researching other things. I decided to research myself and put the information that I found in a book. When I start a research paper, I start the paper only knowing little information. I research as I write. Then in the end, everything comes together. I learn and I retain. My questions are answered and it all makes sense. There is a method to the madness. You can drive yourself insane when you come to a conclusion with a beginning you want to rewrite. The problem with my research paper on myself was that I can't rewrite my life story. So I figured that was the reason why I was stumbling blindly on my journey and getting knocked over by many of life's challenges. I came to the conclusion that I needed to see where I came from in order to know where I was. And then I would know where I was going. That seemed simple enough. I had the urge to reveal my truth. In my life, I would ignore red flags, thinking it'd get better with time. I would mask the bad, then try and pretend the bad never happened when it was over. Forgive and forget, right? There were many moments in my life when I'd ask myself, how did this happen? The question I've asked myself in my many struggles. You can drive yourself insane trying to figure out what you did wrong or if you even did wrong and how to fix it or avoid it. You could drive yourself crazy wondering if others are as unqualified at living life as you are while looking at how others gracefully take on life. So forgive yourself, forgive others, and remember to not forget the lesson of the past and look forward on your life's journey. Now I can write and reflect on these things and grow from them. Your journey is never over. Think of your journey as an experience. When you walk outside, sometimes you need an umbrella to shield you from the rain. Sometimes it's cold. That's why you put on a coat. Sometimes it's hot. You have to bear it all. Sometimes your journey will be uncomfortable, but your journey always continues. The world will continue around you. How you deal with what is around you and what comes your way is what matters. Notice how I said you deal. Because the world is going to do what it's going to do. People are going to do what they're going to do. You are responsible for yourself. It's important not to beat yourself up because the world will already do enough of that. Some of the people I've encountered are haters. I can't hate myself too. That's too much hate for one person. I deserve to be celebrated, not hated. Love yourself because no one can love you that hard. The same goes for hate. You're your own worst critic. You're harder on yourself than anybody else. How others treat you is a reflection of how you treat yourself. I didn't realize this before, but when others see how great you are and you don't see how great you are, they take advantage of that. It's natural to pick the weak from the strong. Not everyone gives chances. Uncertainty scares people. So you yourself have to be very certain of yourself in this world. You have to be your biggest fan and your own hype man. So when you move in this world, make sure you move with confidence. In my research, I realized I have the ability to create my own narrative. I can show and tell people who I am. Show the world who you are. Put yourself and your ideas out there. If you don't believe in yourself, then who will? I live an open and honest life, but it's okay to keep something to yourself and to process the situation. It's healthy to feel your feelings. This is your personal journey, and you get to invite who you want to on this journey and what parts and experiences you want to share. I thought I knew myself, but I had to learn myself. I let people tell me who I was for years, and I didn't stand up for myself because I didn't stand for anything. I was unhappy. I was in a constant state of worry. I thought about how others viewed me. I cared about everything. That has been my downfall in the past, paying too much attention to the little things, too much attention to other people's feelings and their situations. I've always been great at managing other people's lives and guiding them towards their goals. Working in the social work field, I was constantly reviewing files that included bits of people's life stories. I talk with people to get to know them and more about their life. I do my research so that I am capable of knowing exactly how to help them in their lives. I've always been so invested in others' lives. In my research, I realized that I always magnify the best parts about a person as motivation towards a goal in their life. But I never saw the greatness in myself. I didn't treat myself too great either. I realized that I had not only to see the beauty in my life, but I also had to see the beauty in my life struggles. In my research, I realized that because I viewed my struggles as ugly, I tried to keep them out of view or make them pretty. I feared failure. I never pushed myself to explore new things. I learned that I didn't push the boundaries of my possibilities, and therefore I had nothing new to research about myself. I had stayed in the same stagnant place for years. So push yourself in whatever it may be. Find your inspiration. Sometimes evolving and growing means going back and reevaluating your life, assessing the experiences you've had and remembering who you've always been, and knowing who you are now. Of course, I have wonderful life experiences, past and present, but this book is about reflecting on all of my struggles. I want you to know that you are not your struggles, but your struggles have made you into the person you are today. There's a saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, isn't it the same as judging yourself or someone else by a bad experience? This is my success story. I want to tell you how I obtained my success. Mind you, financial wealth has nothing to do with my success. It starts in the mind. Take care of yourself. That's how you build a foundation of success. I broke my research about myself into categories, and under each category are different chapters. I outline my paper with specific time periods of the traumatic things that have happened to me within those periods. If you sort out your childhood traumas, then your adult traumas will make more sense. I organize my relationship traumas, workplace traumas, and all of the other cost of living traumas, including the actual cost of living, into chapters too. In this story, I ended with how I took control of my life. So, that being said, that's my book, Shaken to Become Unshaken, and this is part of the first section 1 in my book. You can buy this book anywhere. It's where all books are sold, online and also at bookstores. It's even at your local library, so you can get this book. You can also buy this book on my actual website, www.journeywithjonna.com. That website is going to be back up on May 5th, so take a look at that. But you can also go on Amazon and you can buy my book there. So you could just use my name right there, Jonna Murray. And if you punch that into Amazon, my books will come up, Shaken to Become Unshaken, as well as Diary of the Brokenhearted as a Woman. That's my very first book. But yeah, that's this book. So I wanted to do a little read on that because it's so very important to me, and I love my book. It's me. It's about my life. If you have gone through domestic violence or if you are going through it actively, I'm not sure how this book will affect you. It could be triggering. So just read at your own caution if you've been through some things. But yeah, you guys, look at your success process and you stay blessed. And I will read another chapter of this book next week.